Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Lineage Archive. We left Yamato Dynasty last time, and as the Nara period dawned, the dynasty's reach was at its widest. Today we pick up where we left off. Power, once grasped, must be defended at all costs. The heirs of the Yamato understood this lesson early on. Sovereignty is a prize, not a birthright. In the court, alliances were as fleeting as whispers in the wind. Every marriage was a calculated move, a piece on a chessboard in a complex game of power. The stakes were high, and the consequences were often unforgiving. This wasn't just politics. It was survival, a constant dance where one misstep could lead to ruin.
But, Aurelius, this notion of sovereignty being a mere prize overlooks the human cost involved. These alliances weren't just strategic. They were lifelines for families and clans. The Yamato's early court was a place of intrigue, but also of desperation. Those arranged marriages were not just moves on a board. They were sacrifices made to secure survival.
You raise an interesting point. The Yamato's reach grew amid rival clans and foreign influences. They had to transform their sacred ancestry into something far more tangible. The fertile basin of Yamato became both a cradle and a battleground. Their authority was rooted in ancient myths, but it needed to be enforced with real power. This wasn't just about stories. It was about land, resources, and the will to dominate. To thrive, they had to adapt, or they risked losing everything.
But let's not forget the local chieftains, the Uji. They weren't passive players in this game. Each clan fiercely guarded its autonomy. The Yamato court's expansion was a complex dance of diplomacy and coercion. The Soga, Nakatomi, and Fujiwara families weren't just pawns. They were powerful forces in their own right, influencing the court's decisions.
The Soga clan emerged as a crucial ally for the Yamato. Their embrace of Buddhism wasn't just a happenstance. It was a calculated move. They brought with them transformative ideas and exceptional craftsmanship from the continent. The construction of temples and the introduction of new rituals didn't just elevate the spiritual landscape. They fundamentally reshaped the very culture of the court. We can see how such alliances can redefine power dynamics, and that's exactly what happened here.
Yet this transformation came with severe backlash. The Mononobe clan saw Buddhism's rise as an existential threat. For them, Shinto wasn't just a set of rituals. It was a core part of who they were. The conflict between Soga and Mononobe wasn't just about differing beliefs. It was a struggle for the very soul of Japan, with real people caught in the crossfire, facing loss and uncertainty in a rapidly changing world.
The court became a battleground for ideology, a place where sacred rites were deeply intertwined with political power. This wasn't just about religion. It was about who could assert control over the Yamato narrative. Rituals and military engagements merged seamlessly, revealing the high stakes involved. Leaders understood that the performance of these rites could sway public opinion and solidify their authority. In this intricate dance of power, we see just how far ambition can stretch when the throne is at stake.
But those military campaigns were equally telling. Conquest was about so much more than just grabbing land. It was about establishing dominance and control. The Kibi, Izumo, and Emishi weren't just enemies to defeat. They were vibrant peoples with rich cultures, and their identities were being erased in the process. The Yamato's expansion was a brutal assertion of power, and the human cost was steep. We can't overlook the lives disrupted and the stories silenced in this relentless drive for supremacy.
You make a vital observation about the consequences of expansion. Each victory came with visible signs of power, new fortresses rising against the skyline, monumental burial mounds that spoke of glory. This is how empires demonstrate their strength. But we must remember, mere military might can't secure lasting authority. It's the institutional reform that lays the foundation for stability. Without it, even the strongest armies can falter. Power must be anchored in governance, or it risks crumbling.
And yet, the Taika reforms weren't just a necessary evolution in governance. They came in as a direct response to a bloody coup that shattered lives and families. The fall of the Soga clan opened the door for sweeping changes that centralized power in a way people had never seen before. These reforms dismantled traditional structures and imposed imperial control over land and governance. It was a radical shift that altered the fabric of society, not merely an improvement.
True. The reforms did emerge from chaos, a bloodbath that left the court reeling and many questioning their loyalties. But out of that turmoil they laid the groundwork for a more sophisticated bureaucracy. Asuka became a symbol of this transformation. The new capital was grand, echoing the influence of Tang China, showcasing our ambition. It wasn't just a change of scenery. It signaled a new era, one where we could strive for stability and power in an ever-shifting landscape.
The rise of Asuka was truly remarkable, but it also hid some deep-seated tensions that were simmering just beneath the surface. Not long after, the Jinshin War broke out, and it laid bare the fragility of the dynasty. Families were torn apart, and the very principle of imperial inheritance was put to the test. It served as a stark reminder that power, while so fiercely sought after, can be incredibly fragile and often comes at a heavy human cost.
As the Nara period dawned, the Yamato Dynasty's reach was at its widest. The new capital thrived, bustling with diplomats, monks, and artisans from across Asia, all eager to contribute to this vibrant culture. Prestige was claimed through both war and reform, but a nagging question remained. Could the dynasty withstand the myriad challenges that lay ahead? History has shown us that the true test of any empire lies not in its triumphs, but in its ability to navigate the storms that threaten to unravel it.
That's where we leave it this time. Yamato Dynasty continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Lineage archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.